Teacher Talking Sports, what it does, what it do, how we live in. Let's continue the series I've been doing where I name who I believe is the best player in each MLB franchise's history. Their all-time GOAT previously did this for NBA, NFL, and NHL teams as well. They're in playlists, you can check them out, as are the MLB teams I've done thus far, going in alphabetical order. Today we land on the Cleveland Guardians, whose first season came in 1901, so all in all, 124 seasons of action. Were known as the Cleveland Indians for over a century from 1915 to 2021, and the past three seasons have gone by the Cleveland Guardians. Now, about 3 years ago, I did my MLB Mount Rushmores by teams, where I attempted to name who I believe are the four best players in each franchise's history. So, before I reveal the GOAT, I've just been revisiting those Mount Rushmores, seeing if I might make any changes in the 3 years that have passed. And I actually did decide to make a change with this one, although it wasn't an easy decision. But in alphabetical order by last name, we got Bob Feller. Feller led the league in wins six times, pitched his whole 18-year career with the Cleveland Indians, winning 266 games. Nap Lajoie, the team was actually known as the Cleveland Naps for some time due to him playing for them. He batted 339 in his 13 years with the Cleveland franchise. The guy I added is active player Jose Ramirez. 12 seasons with the team, has six top 10 MVP finishes. I think he's going to have a seventh this year. So long seen as one of the better players in the league. And then Tris Speaker. Speaker spent 11 years with Cleveland from 1916 to 1926. Doubles machine. Some tough omissions. Now, the guy actually took off in replace of Ramirez is Jim Thome, probably the team's best power hitter of all time. Although Albert Bell, another honorable mention, definitely belongs in that conversation. Was tough taking off Thome for Ramirez, but I decided to do so. Some other honorable mentions: Lou Bedreau, Kenny Lofton, Corey Kluber, Omar Vizquel, and Bob Lemon. Now, at the end of each of these videos, I take a look at the active roster, decide if anyone has a chance to overtake the GOAT, make the Mount Rushmore be an honorable mention. As I mentioned, there's already a excuse me active player on their Mount Rushmore. But anyhow, in the end, this was a very tough one. Three choices were really, I wouldn't argue too much, but in the end, I decided to go with center fielder Tris Speaker. Speaker, as I mentioned, played with the Cleveland franchise from 1916 to 1926. So 11 seasons with the team. Won a batting title in his first season. That year, he led the league in batting average 386, on base percentage 470, slugging percentage 502, and OPS at 972. He also won a championship with Cleveland in 1920, batted 320 in that World Series with two doubles and a triple. Let's take a look at his season by season numbers via his baseball reference page. Just looking at his time with Cleveland, he actually played 22 years, so half of them were with Cleveland. All in all, he batted 354 with a 444 on base percentage, 520 slugging, 965 OPS. He had 1,965 hits, 486 doubles, 108 triples, 73 homers, 886 RBIs, 1,079 runs scored, 155 stolen bases. And look at, I mean, I get he played over a century ago. Well, his career ended with Cleveland almost a century ago, but 857 walks compared to 146 strikeouts. Ridiculous. Looking at his season by season numbers via his baseball reference page, as I mentioned, the categories he led his first season in Cleveland. He also led the league in doubles six times during his time with Cleveland. He had three seasons of at least 50 doubles with Cleveland and another two of at least uh, another three, another three with at least 40. Um, did I say 4 seasons with 50 doubles? He had 4 seasons with 50 doubles. Two more with at least, three more with at least 40. Okay, I got it right this time. Um, Again, era didn't have many sluggers other than Babe Ruth, but did hit 17 homers in 1923. That year, he led the league in RBIs with 130. He had 4 seasons with Cleveland where he had at least 100 runs. Seasons were not 162 games back then. Where some were 153. I believe when he first started with Cleveland, they were let's see. So that season they had, um, yeah, about 156. Okay, so a little bit short of 162. But yes, for bunch of stolen bases as well in his time with Cleveland, especially when he first came. 35 his first year, 30 his second year. As mentioned, his first year he led the league in on base percentage. He also led the league in on base percentage in 1922 and 1925. Every season but one in his time with Cleveland, he had at least a 400 on base percentage, and also every season with Cleveland, he had at least a 300 batting average. The only one he didn't was 1919 when he batted 296 with a 395 on base percentage. 4 seasons with over a 1,000 OPS. Speaker also played a important defensive position in center field, which kind of caused me to give him the slight advantage of over a couple other guys. Inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1937. Now, as I mentioned, about half his career was with Cleveland, but he was a doubles machine. 792 career doubles, first all time, and his 3,514 hits are fifth all time. So this was the hardest one I've done thus far. I gave the slight edge to Speaker over a guy like Bob Feller, who pitched 18 years with Cleveland. Also, Nap Lajoie, as I mentioned. They actually called themselves the Cleveland Naps for some time due to, Nap being on the team. Between those three, it's rather difficult to choose one. I gave the slight edge to Speaker. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. As I mentioned, with all these, I take a look at the active roster, decide if anyone has a chance to overtake the GOAT, make the Mount Rushmore be an honorable mention. Of course, Jose Ramirez, I already have on the Mount Rushmore. He turned 32 years old on September 17th. If he's a career Cleveland lifer, let's say he has, I don't know, 3 or 4 more seasons at a MVP, near MVP level, there's a chance he could become the best player in franchise history. But yes, he is on the wrong side of 30. Otherwise, Stephen Kwan's proven to be a good hitter, but I don't think he's going to be a Mount Rushmore guy. Um, Shane Bieber's a free agent now, and he's had a lot of injury woes of late. Barely only pitched 2 games this season, so yeah, not much else. Although Cleveland was a surprise team at 92 and 69 this season. But yes, stay tuned for tomorrow. I will be doing the Colorado Rockies. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.